Now, something I've noticed with quite a few episodes of this season of Fruits Basket is just how many of these episodes honestly feel like they could be a season finale of what you would typically expect to see in a 12 episode anime season. But because we're getting a full adaptation and this is just the first season of Fruits Basket, we're actually able to see events that typically would be your cliffhanger as you wait to see, are we getting another season? An event like this, the New Year's Day, kind of spending it with the people that you really care for, that's typically an episode 11 or 12 sequence for a lot of 12 episode series. And it's just really nice having a series that actually has the time to go over so many important events over a character's life that are important to them, that really highlight the bonding and growth between multiple characters. And episodes like these are just so nice knowing that it's not like we have to wait for years for the next episode, because this is typically what I'm used to seeing, being like, oh god, are we getting any more? And this episode was very sweet. A lot of comedy, a lot of charming moments, but I really like seeing just Toru once again because she isn't perfect. She's had her moments of growth for sure, but she still is someone who hides behind a smile and doesn't actually say what she wants 100% of the time. Her really putting herself out there and wanting to go live with the Somas was kind of the first big step for her, but that wasn't meaning that she was going to be able to always say what it is she wants. And what I really like is how she is someone who lost her parents. She has really no close family other than her grandfather, and obviously she can't really be with him all that much. And what I like is how you have, obviously, the boys being like, they don't want to go home for one reason or another. You got a girl who wants to be your wife and she's very clingy and abusive. Obviously, you're going to be a little fearful there. You got Akito, who is just, obviously, you'd be fearful of that. But also, it's just going home after being gone for so long. Obviously, it's a little uncomfortable, and also this family isn't the most welcoming as we've seen. But when you have someone like Toru saying, like, be with your families, I'm sure they missed you, it's pretty much impossible to say no to a girl who's lost her family and can never see them again, even though that's something that she obviously would want. And it would be such a stab in the back, at least at the start, in terms of their perspective, saying, no, we don't want to see our family, when she knows what it is like to not have your family wishing you could and maybe would have given enough time back in the day. And it's such a really nice moment because not only do you got a little bit of, Shigure charm being like, I guess it is her word that is law, but you also get a really emotional moment because you know what it is she's lost. You also recognize why these boys see that they kind of have to follow through because it seemingly is what she wants. You can't really read her. It's mentioned by Yuki, like, even after all this time, they still really can't read this girl because she's always smiling. You can transform into an animal and she won't even blink an eye. She'll just kind of follow through with it. And such an interesting character because on one hand, it's really her greatest strength. She can bring out the best in people, but on the other hand, it forces her to lock herself away in isolation and loneliness even when she has people trying to give her what it is she wants. She convinces herself other needs are more important than her own, and I really like that. You have two of her closest friends who just continuously look after her, worrying about her, and even when they say, we will be with you, she's never spent a New Year's alone, and it seems like this will be the first time she will have to. And I like how even in the middle of this, she's saying, no, be with your families, it's perfectly fine. But you have one being like, I'm not gonna fall for this because for whatever reason, she can read into these ways, she has a really good, keen observation for what's going on. And I like how the entire reason they turn around and go home, Yuki as well as Kyo, isn't because just like they recognize it themselves, it's because of one of her closest friends, not just someone who is a disposable side character who just is gonna kind of pop up for a comedic effect here or there, someone who recognizes that she can't be alone, she will cry herself to sleep, this is too painful, she needs comfort and support, and that's going to be you. And I like how they play it off both as a comedy sequence, but also a really emotional character one. Because of course you have people like Yuki and Kyo being like, on one hand, Kagura is gonna absolutely just be furious with me, and they're worrying on that hand. Akito is probably gonna stab a bitch, gonna worry about that. But they're also playing it off as like they're not trying to be heroic or they're doing it for her, they just want to go home, they just don't want to see it. And I like how just comedic but also heartwarming it is. Seeing them run home, really worrying about what's happening to her. Like, how could they be so foolish? How could they not recognize what was behind that smile? To the barging in and seeing the tears fall from her face as she's looking at her mother's picture. How could you be so foolish? And I love that. It is such a great moment because this is a girl who has so far to go, where she can start putting her own needs forward and saying, this is what I would like, and have conversations with people rather than just looking after others and not yourself. It is so great seeing where in 8 episodes we've gone. starting off in episode 1 to where we currently are. This typically would feel like a season's worth of content, and we still have 4 episodes left for the first core of this. It is so interesting seeing just the bond, the family dynamic, the love and nurturing just comfort that's kind of coming from all of them. It is so nice just seeing how Toru is someone who really does bring out the best in people, and it's not only just like she brings out the best in people in her kind of group of friends and family, things of that nature, it's that even after she does that, they can repay the favor to her. It's not like she's just going to be the one who kind of mends people's hearts. They also can mend hers in the appropriate moments, such as we see here, and it's a really touching episode that really just hammers in everything that we built up to up till now, and it'll be interesting to see the consequences of them not going to this, because they did mention that they will go wish them a happy new year, but we know Akito is a pretty crazy head of the family, and based on Shigure kind of just basking in the almost isolation and just pain that Akito is going through, it seems like quite a few are okay with the head of the family not being happy, so it's a pretty interesting dynamic to say the least. The comedy really charmed me because the comedy was really divided into 2 sections for the most part, that being Yuki and Kyo, and both of them just overreacting and just worrying about one person, that being Akito, as well as Kakura, and I just love their overreactions and just how they are honestly fearful of the other. They wish they could just part ways from this other person, but they're just kind of latch onto him at this point in time. And it's really funny, but it's also kind of like scary depending on, like, we know what each of these characters could do. And it's kind of frightening seeing like they're going against them. So hopefully neither one will come to their house with a hatchet or something, because you know that probably could easily happen. There's a lot of just cute moments, a lot of fun moments, and just seeing the actors really get into their roles of just, you know, kind of being like, oh, I don't want to go home. It starts off so innocent, right? You know, I don't want to go home. It's boring. It's just, I don't want to see these people. You start off saying, okay, that's fine. And then, like the characters, you recognize, oh shit, this is someone who lost her family, and you're saying in front of her that you don't want to see yours. That's pretty much gonna stab her in the heart. We can't say no to this girl. To then the shattering realization that she was putting on a fake face, hiding behind her fake smile, so when behind closed doors she could cry herself to sleep. So you being the heroic kind of heroes, barging in being like, your needs are more important than our own. So even if they truly wanted to go home, they would still come back to her after learning that this was all for nothing, because this is a girl who has brought out the absolute best in them and showed them that they aren't freaks like Akito has once said. And I really like that. It's such a great episode that this could easily be a season finale for a 12 episode series. Like, this is what you typically expect. The big events, Christmas, New Year's Eve, things to that nature are typically your final episode while you wait to see if there is going to be any more. And to know that we have so many more episodes to go, and this is just the intro stages, is kind of bizarre. You don't get to say that too often with anime. You get to say that often with manga for sure, because it goes on for years and years, but not too many anime get full adaptations. Sure, we're getting more full adaptations more and more, but still, something to this nature, especially a really interesting character drama with a sprinkle of romance as a side element, is something you don't get to say, holy shit, we're gonna have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of episodes to learn with a large cast of characters. And that's really exciting. We got a glimpse of some of the other members of this family, and I'm really excited to learn about not only just what their animals will be, but also their personality, their behavior, and also just how everything in this family is truly functioning, and also what is the health issue with Akito, because clearly going outside for too long isn't something that works out too well for them. Overall, this was definitely probably one of my favorite episodes of Fruits Basket. It was emotional, it was comedy driven, it just had a little bit of all the elements that we've seen up to this point in this series, and it was a really remarkable episode because not only did it allow for Toru to be someone who can actually be saved, not her saving others, you also got to really just refresh the viewer with everything that's happened. There was a lot of kind of flashbacks and kind of recognizing what's happened in the past, but it was actually used as a character and story significance because it was highlighting that this is a girl who wanted to be with us, and they had to really kind of flash back and think like, holy shit, she wants to be with us. She doesn't want to be alone. This is where she's most comfortable, and we were about to leave her alone. And that's just such a great moment. No one can deny just how well the pacing and just overall character arcs have been over 8 weeks, and how it feels like we've got to know them so well, but at the same time, there's still so much we don't know about them, and to see how they're going to evolve over this season is going to be some of the most impressive stuff that we'll see in anime in quite a while, I honestly think. This was a phenomenal episode, a lot of emotion, a lot of character, just development, and just kind of like really refreshing the viewer, making us say like, look at how much has truly happened over the course of just a few episodes, and to see where it's going to go from here is going to be great, because the comedy was really well balanced with the serious and dramatic. This episode probably had the best balance of having a sentence both be funny but also really dramatic all at the same time, which honestly I'm really excited to see how future events will continue down this path in terms of blending the comedy as well as the drama, because this was definitely an episode that has me excited for a lot more of the comedic elements in the future. But for manga readers, anime originals like myself, or fans of the original anime, what did you think of this week's episode of Fruits Basket? Did you enjoy it as much as me with just the more dramatic and just heartfelt moments, or was there something that you wanted to see a bit more of? Let me know down in the comment section below, and if you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like, and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't been new. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.